Greetings to all of you, my dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Yeti. We are Wednesday and going through our values. But before that, I'm going to read the last two chapters of this week of Joshua, 5 and 6. When all the Amorite kings west of the Jordan and the Canaanite kings along the seacoast heard how God had stopped the Jordan River before the people of Israel until they had crossed over, their hearts sank. The courage drained out of them just thinking about the people of Israel. At that time God said to Joshua, "Make stone knives and circumcise the people of Israel a second time." So Joshua made stone knives and circumcised the people of Israel at Foreskins Hill. This is why Joshua conducted the circumcision. All the male who had left Egypt, the soldiers, had died in the wilderness on the journey out of Egypt. All the people who had come out of Egypt, of course, had been circumcised, but all those born in the wilderness along the way since leaving Egypt had not been. The fact is that the people of Israel had walked through that wilderness for 40 years until the entire nation died out. All the men of military age who had come out of Egypt but had disobeyed the call of God. God vowed that these would never lay eyes on the land. God had solemnly promised their ancestors to give us a land flowing with milk and honey, but their children had replaced them. These are the ones Joshua circumcised. They had never been circumcised. No one had circumcised them along the way. When they had completed the circumcision of the whole nation, they stayed where they were in camp until they were healed. God said to Joshua, "Today I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt." That's why the place is called the Gilgal. It's still called that. The people of Israel continued to camp at the Gilgal. They celebrated the Passover on the evening of the 14th day of the month on the plains of Jericho. Right away, the day after the Passover, they started eating the produce of that country, unraised bread and roasted grain. And then no more manna. The manna stopped. As soon as they started eating food grown in the land, there was no more manna for the people of Israel. That year they eat from the crops of Canaan. And then this, while Joshua was there near Jericho, he looked up and saw right in front of him a man standing, holding his drawn sword. Joshua stepped up to him and said, "Whose side are you on, ours or our enemies?" He said, "Neither. I'm commander of God's army. I've just arrived." Joshua fell face to the ground and worshipped. He asked, "What orders does my master have for his servant?" God's army commander ordered Joshua, "Take your sandals off your feet. The place you are standing is holy." And Joshua did it. Jericho was shut up tight as a drum because of the people of Israel. No one going in, no one coming out. God spoke to Joshua, "Look sharp now. I've already given Jericho to you, along with its king and its crack troops. Here's what you are to do. March around the city, all your soldiers. Circle the city once. Repeat this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry 7 ram's horns, trumpets in front of the chest. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, the priests blowing away on the trumpets, and then a long blast on the ram's horn. When you hear that, all the people are to shout out the top of their lungs. The city wall will collapse at once. All the people are to enter, every man straight on it. So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priest and told him, "Take up the chest of the covenant. 7 priests are to carry 7 ram's horns, trumpets leading God's chest." Then he told the people, "Set out, march around the city, have the armed guard march before the chest of God." And it happened, Joshua spoke, the people moved. 7 priests with their 7 ram's horn trumpets set out before God. They blew the trumpets, leading God's chest of the covenant. The armed guard marched ahead of the trumpet blowing priests. The rear guard was marching after the chest, marching and blowing their trumpets. Joshua had given orders to the people. Don't shout. In fact, don't even speak, not so much as a whisper until you hear me say, "Shout." Then shout, "Away." He sent the chest of God on its way around the city. It circled once, came back to the camp, and stayed for the night. Joshua was up early the next morning, and the priest took up the chest of God. The 7 priests carrying the 7 ram's horn trumpets marched before the chest of God, marching and blowing the trumpets, with the armed guard marching before, the rear guard marching after, marching and blowing of trumpets. On the 2nd day, they again circled the city once and turned and returned to the camp. They did this 6 days. When the 7th day came, they got up early and marched around the city. This came way but 7 times. Yes, this day they circled the city 7 times. On the 7th time around, the priest blew the trumpets, and Joshua signaled the people, "Shout! God has given you the city. The city and everything in it is under a holy curse and offered up to God. Except for Rahab the harlot, she is to live, she and everyone in her house with her, because she hid the agents we sent. As for you, watch yourselves in the city under holy curse. Be careful that you don't covet anything in it and take something that's cursed, endangering the camp of Israel with the curse and making trouble for everyone. All silver and gold, all vessels of bronze and iron are holy to God. Put them in God's treasury." The priests blew the trumpets, and when the people heard the blast of the trumpets, they gave a thunderclap shout, and the wall fell at once. The people rushed straight into the cities and took it. They put everything in the city under the holy curse, killing men and women, young and old, ox and sheep and donkey. Joshua ordered the 2 men who had spied out the land, "Enter the house of the harlot and rescue the woman and everyone connected with her, just as you promised her." So the young spies went in and brought out Rahab, her father, mother, and brothers, everyone connected with her. They got the whole family out and gave them a place outside the camp of Israel. But they burned down the city and everything in it, except for the gold and silver and the bronze and iron vessels. All that they put in the treasury of God's house. But Joshua let Rahab the harlot live, and Rahab and her father's household and everyone connected to her. She is still alive and well in Israel because she hid the agents whom Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. Joshua swore a solemn oath at that time. Cursed before God is the man who sets out to rebuild the city Jericho. He'll pay for foundation with his firstborn son. He'll pay for the gates with his youngest son. And God was with Joshua. He became famous all over the land. Till here, the full story of our week in the greatest story of the Bible. So we are in our values. If the stakes are high enough, or the stacks are high enough, just about anyone will do just about anything at just about anything given time. How else can you explain why people do such foolish things, or such difficult things, or such risky things? If a person is hungry enough, he will go to great lengths, take tremendous risks, even by willing to break the law in order to find food. Why would a person get up before dawn, pull on her shoes, a t-shirt and a pair of shorts to go jogging? Why will a person stay up late studying when it will be so much easier to eat ice cream while watching kind of a series on TV? People have to want something pretty badly to endure physical or mental distress to get it. They have to value something more highly than comfort. This is why people get up early, stay up late, put in the extra effort, go without. There is something for which they are willing to pay a price. If it is something desirable enough, they are willing to pay a very steep price. And they do so gladly. Why? Because the stakes, or the stacks, I'm not sure how I have to pronounce this word, but anyway, are high enough. It seems silly, laughable even, that people are willing to make such great sacrifices and pay such high prices to do things like climb mountains or run races when we are simultaneously unwilling to do much of anything to claim the abundant life God has made available for us. God offers us a life of freedom, a life of adventure, a life of security, a life with no secret or anxiety. While will there be pain involved? Of course, but anything worthwhile is costly. If you devote yourself to the relentless pursuit of whatever God has in store for you, it will require huge risk and an alarming level of sacrifice. What in the world could motivate the Israelites to step into a rushing river? Why would they be willing to march around the fortified walls of a hostile enemy city with nothing but trumpets in their hands? What in the world could motivate people to give money away when it would be easier to spend it on themselves? What would cause a person to get up early and volunteer to help someone they've never met? What inspires people to forgive, to serve, to turn the other cheek, to sell everything and move halfway around the world to dig wells or teach children to read? Maybe we've been come to a place where we value our comfort and security more than we really value the calling of God in our lives. But we don't have to stay here. In fact, we cannot stay here and go with God over the difficult barriers into the land of His promise. Now, dear ones, for tomorrow is action. May the Most High God bless you in your mornings, noontimes, and evening. And it's not just saying morning, noon, and evening, just as whatever it's going to be every day that I'm using these words. My dear ones, the blessings of God over our lives are very important. And we have to recognize those blessings because the blessings are there every day. But if we come to our own reality, we don't stop and thinking about all that. Maybe once in a while, about all the blessings that God gives to us in a new day, in a comfort zone, in love. It's all there. So my dear ones, accept these blessings in an awareness. Because sometimes we go through life that everything is for granted and that, God wants to bring us to a conscience that opens our eyes and opens our soul more to understand what He is always giving us. The presence of God, the compassionate God, the God with His unconditional love every day. In our relationships with each other, God is there. Bless Him, our Creator, because He is worthy to be praised every day, and be thankful for the life He's given to you. Life in the difficult parts, in more smooth parts, the reality of our life is a life that we have to consider that every day is different. The taste of yesterday is different than today. Let the Beloved love you, my dear ones. And your loved ones next to you. Blessings, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yeti. Bye.